Go, press the go button to make it go.
All you have to do is go dang, dang, da dang, and I'm in.
Ready? Dang, dang, da dang, dang.
Welcome to the Rewind Classic Movies podcast about 80s and 90s movies we probably saw as kids, even if we weren't old enough to fully understand the adult themes. I'm GB, and with me is my co-host AJ.
Yeah, it's me, insufferable as ever, reviewing the film in topic and not the entire canon, just the one film, boys and girls. Oh yes. Today, DNA editing. Controversial or not? Let's take a look at how wrong it can go when some scientists, run by David Attenborough's brother, decide to play God.
Excellent. Very quickly, before we talk about Jurassic Park, I want to briefly just shout about our website, rewindclassicmovies.com, because we've completely reinvented it, and I'm quite proud of it.
When you say we've completely reinvented it, you've completely I've done nothing at all.
I thought I'd just share all the hard work.
I just want to point out that Gareth does all the work here, and I do absolutely nothing apart from be insufferable.
I could not deny that. So we've got loads of articles about old movies. That's the right way around. This week we've had articles about the top movies of 90s. God, it's not working today, is it?
You are not
this week
doing
we've
well.
had articles about the top movies of 1978, back when we had variety at the box office. And there's some surprises in there. We had news about the Masters of the Universe reboot and its iconic music. You can listen to that actually over at the website. And how the new 2025 Superman compares to the Christopher Reeve version. And hopefully by the time this comes out, a great read called How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Prequels by Simon Morrison, which is an interesting take on the Star Wars movies. Although I do think Simon should take some of his own wisdom and stop worrying about the sequels. Anyway, let's talk about a film.
This one.
Directed by Steven Spielberg and released in 1993, Jurassic Park roared onto screens thanks to a $63 million budget, and it would dominate the box office, making over $1 billion worldwide. It became the highest grossing film of all time and redefined what a blockbuster could be.
That was insane. 1 billion. Fair play.
I mean, that's over time. Groundbreaking use of CGI and animatronics brought dinosaurs to life in a way no one had ever seen before and helped the film win Academy Awards, BAFTAs, and many other trophies across numerous categories. And John Williams was even nominated for a Grammy. What a guy. It not only spawned a massive franchise that continues today, but also inspired a new wave of interest in paleontology and visual effects.
I guessed it must have done. You know, it must have inspired loads of kids to go, dinosaurs and stuff.
I mean, as if enough kids weren't going dinosaurs and stuff anyway.
True.
But anyway, what's your personal history? Did you like dinosaurs and stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I was 7 when this came out, right? I mean, you would have been about 15 or so. I don't know if I was into dinosaurs. I must have had a passing interest in dinosaurs. Everyone did, if you were a kid, I think, you know. This was a cinema one for me. I went to see this at the cinema and I vividly remember it in Penzance. But there was a massive hype surrounding it, so I vividly remember my parents taking me. And the thing is, I remember being scared. I remember seeing it and being... genuinely really scared because, you know, I was 7 years old. You know, the bit in the toilet and there's lots of quite scary moments in this film. I've not seen it in the longest time. So it's been absolutely wonderful to revisit it and actually properly see those adult themes I completely missed as a kid. Genuinely, loads of them. What about you?
I mean, before I even go into this, this is a film of wonder. That's like the first emotion I associate with Jurassic Park. And I loved dinosaurs as a kid. I could name them all when I was 12, when this came out. I studied them intensely and I had toys, I had wooden skeletons that I built. Absolutely loved it. I mean, this was a huge movie for everybody. I remember just it being a huge buzz. However, contrary to you, I cannot vividly remember seeing it in the cinema, and I'm not sure if I did. I have a feeling I just saw it at home. So why don't you talk about the start of the movie in your thespian way?
Well, I mean, do you want me to go full thespian or...
Go up to 8 out of 10.
Well, no, I won't. I won't go full. I won't go full, darling. Right, you ready? Something in the bushes. It's creeping along. There's men in hard hats. It looks like it's going to go a bit men at work. And then suddenly Indiana Jones with a mega shotgun. What's coming through the woods? Oh, it's just a forklift. That's all right. And then this bloke, the Indiana Jones of the shotgun, says, "Get the pushing team in." What's the pushing team? Oh, the dinosaur goes nuts. Bloke starts getting dragged in. Oh, shit. It's all going wrong. And he's just, "Shoot her." I'm fuck, what is this? What have we signed up for here? This is nuts.
It's a nice family Spielberg movie.
Buckle up, kids. Suddenly, cut to a lawyer who's on a raft talking about safety issues with the park and investors and underwriters, which I have no memory of ever seeing as a kid. And maybe I just wrote that off because it was boring, or I don't know. But it sets the tone for the film to come. Definitely a heavy opener.
Yeah, it's interesting you say you don't remember it, because I don't remember it either. And I wonder sometimes, my go-to excuse is probably just didn't record that bit off the telly, and the film started a bit later. But I do wonder whether in our childhood brains we just went, "Oh, that wasn't very interesting, I won't remember it."
Quite possibly. Just missed the first 10 minutes because you forgot to press record on the TV that night.
But the opening is tense. I mean, there's no John Williams score. There's no wonder at this point. It's just logistics and fear, really.
It's a horror movie. I mean, it's straight up horror. Wow.
We go to the amber mine, like you said, and I find this bit so intriguing now as an adult with the lawyers and the mosquitoes and stuff. It sort of does add a little bit to the movie. You could easily have cut that out and got away with it. Then we go to Sam Neill and Laura Dern in her double denim digging.
Yeah, right.
Then double denim digging.
Yeah.
And enjoying, not for the last time, traumatizing kids. I've always been trying to work out their relationship, because they talk about kids and how he doesn't like them and all that sort of stuff. I've never really got to the bottom of it, but let me tell you this. I'm going to bring it back later and we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
'Cause I found some shit out.
Oh, interesting. Because I often, well, I didn't often, today I wondered about their relationship, because I've literally finished watching it about 10 minutes ago. And it's like their relationship's sort of unexplained. I never really got to the bottom of that one. But there you
Let's
go.
get to the bottom of it.
All right.
Later. Then Richard Hammond turns up, or whatever his name is.
Hammond something or other.
David Attenborough, Richard Attenborough. Why the fuck is he Scottish in this? Or at least at the start he's Scottish. He becomes English.
Scene. I know. Like, stick with an accent, will you?
Yeah.
Like,
we, my laddies, we better get to the island. What was
that was sort of Polish, I think. That was a Polish person trying to do Scottish, I think.
I'll take it. Like, he does it. He's Scottish in this scene, and then one scene briefly later, for like one angle, he becomes Scottish again. And I mean, this is Mr. Attenborough. Part of me wants to say there was a subplot or something where he tries to win them over by pretending to be Scottish. And then once they're on board, he doesn't bother.
I'm sure it's not, it cannot for the life of me be Richard Attenborough. And then also Spielberg directing it and missing that completely. Just no way in hell.
There's a scene when he's talking to Laura Dern later on after the kids go missing and stuff. And he's just sat down eating his food. And for the most part of the scene, he's English. But they cut to one different angle, where suddenly he's Scottish. And part of me wondered, was that whole Scottish part of like maybe like the first day of filming or something like that? And then they went, nah, shit, we'll go English. But those takes were just too good to lose.
Maybe.
If you know Mr. Spielberg, can you ask him?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, right.
Someone let us know. Thank you. But let's talk about how this movie came to be.
Please do. Tell me.
Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park was originally a screenplay in the 80s before it was a book in 1990. Then Universal Pictures bought the rights before it was published for $1.5 million. But there were loads of other studios interested and they were bidding for it. And we could have got Tim Burton, Joe Dante, or Richard Donner directing this, because they each had backing from a different studio.
Okay.
But Spielberg was Crichton's preference. So later on, James Cameron admitted he tried to buy the rights.
It doesn't surprise me that it's kind of got James Cameron written all over it, really, hasn't it?
I mean, if it was dinosaurs underwater, he would have got it.
Totally.
But he was told that Spielberg and co. had bought them just hours before. But he did say his version would have been much nastier, comparing it to being more like Aliens.
I don't think it would have been a family film, would it? It wouldn't have been PG. No way. No way.
No. But anyway, Spielberg got it, and then he realised the technology needed to make it happen was not there yet. So he went and did Hook in 1991. Classic.
Such a good film.
The art department went to work on Death Becomes Her, And Spielberg then wanted to make Schindler's List. He almost just couldn't be bothered about it. But the studio greenlit Schindler's List on the basis that he make Jurassic Park first. So they got on with it. David Koepp. How would you say that?
Koepp.
David Koepp.
I don't know. Answers on a postcard.
Yeah, and it got made, and there's loads of great stuff to talk about. So let's move it along. Let's talk about casting and stuff. Before we talk about the actual cast members, Spielberg knew that the effects were going to cost a shit ton of money. So he didn't want to spend loads and loads on actors. He basically wanted solid actors who were relatively unknowns. And most of the leads were cast at the last minute, just weeks before filming.
Holy shit.
Crazy. Now, the first one I want to talk about is Jeff Goldblum. Do you want to just start talking about Jeff?
Jeff Goldblum. I mean, what is there not to talk about? I love him in this. He's my favourite bit of this. And I was texting you earlier going, all of his lines are my favourite lines. You know, we have the favourite lines parts. And all he does, his entire script, this entire movie is just my favourite lines. Everything he says is brilliant. You know, he says, you hire scientists and this guy's bought me a rock star. It's great. His character's just ace in this. It's wonderful.
Can you imagine the film without him?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
it almost
not.
Didn't have him in it.
God, really?
There was at least 2 writers that wanted to cut him out and just combine his part with Alan Grant, I think. But Spielberg wanted it, so Spielberg got it. And he's amazing. He brings so much joy to this movie. I mean, it needs it at times, and he is that kind of lightness. But if it wasn't Goldblum in this role, I suddenly thought while watching it that the perfect replacement would be David Duchovny. If you've ever seen him in Californication, it's the same character almost.
Yeah.
It would be brilliant. I kind of want to see it. But guess who they almost cast?
I've no idea.
If it wasn't going to be Goldblum, it was going to be one other actor, and you won't guess it. I'll give you 3 guesses.
It's all on the reflexes, baby. Kurt Russell.
No.
Oh, all right.
Although he comes up in a minute.
Oh, I bet he does.
I'm just going to cut to the chase. It was Jim Carrey.
I want to believe it, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can see that at all. It would be too over the top.
If I had my way, I don't think I'd see Jim Carrey in any movie. Anyway, we won't talk about him.
Really?
Apart from when he does his serious stuff, then I don't mind him so much. There's one shot of Goldblum lying on the table, shirt open. I mean, it's timeless, and it's now a meme, but it's just so weirdly placed. It's just, why is that there? Who let that go through? Is that just a part of the adult humour where they went, I know we'll like this?
Exactly. It's so good. Either that or he wrote it into his contract as a bit of a joke, and they were like, yeah, all right.
I mean, he looks great.
He looks amazing. I mean, I would.
Sam Neill.
Yep.
He is, I think he's perfect in this movie. He's never over the top. He's got all the right kind of characteristics. And I always forget that he's Australian because his accents are so good.
I didn't know he's Australian.
I believe so.
I thought he was American.
Yeah. I saw him in some behind the scenes and he was, saying chuck a shrimp on the barbie and all that kind of stuff. Should we talk about who they almost cast in this role and go down this ridiculous road yet again?
Is this the Kurt Russell one?
Kurt Russell and Richard Dreyfuss were considered.
Wow, okay.
But too expensive, apparently.
And just too over the top. It wouldn't work. Yeah.
Can you imagine who they didn't think was too expensive? It was Harrison Ford, because he turned it down, apparently.
Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
He would be well expensive. I mean, he's done Raiders.
Well, exactly. This is just
Star Wars.
He'd just be in another Raiders movie, effectively. He would just be Indiana Jones with dinosaurs. But also, William Hurt and Tim Robbins turned it down.
Whoa, they turned it down.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it?
But I think it's funny how you say, you don't want those actors and then you're offering it to those 3.
Yeah.
To save money. Anyway, Sam Neill, great choice.
Yeah, great. No, he doesn't. He plays it really well. The scientist, just absolutely quiet and, doesn't like kids, grows to love them, all that sort of stuff. He plays it well. Absolutely straight.
It's a great example, again, of just not overacting and just doing what the character should do. Mm-hmm. He's not doing anything to leap off the page in this movie.
Not at all. No. He's just being a paleontologist who's sort of in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. Laura Dern.
Yes.
You talk about Laura Dern and I'll chip in a minute.
I didn't really like her in this.
What?
I didn't. She's the paleobotanist and she's all cool and stuff, but I don't. And like Sam Neill, she plays her role well. She's just a scientist who's there, but it's the one downside of this is I don't really feel her character at all. I don't. Sorry. I was just
Well,
a
let me
little
tell
bit.
you that when I was younger, I would have very much enjoyed to feel her character. I had a massive crush on her back in the day when
You'd
I
like
was
to feel her character, did you say?
12. Just her personality.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think she's great. I think she's the perfect foil for Sam Neill. I think she does a little bit more of the, not over the top acting, but a little bit more enthusiastic.
Maybe I'm being harsh. I
think you are.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to stick with it. Fuck it. I don't care.
Would you have preferred Robin Wright or Juliette Binoche? They both turned it down.
Fair enough.
And maybe you would have preferred two other people that auditioned for the role, Helen Hunt and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Helen Hunt would have been good. Or at least I can see her face in that role for sure.
It would have been such a, not cliched 90s movie, but, she was everywhere at the time, if I remember. A lot of stuff with like Mel Gibson, and I know she was like the woman of the early 90s movies to me.
She was in all those sort of rom-coms and all that sort of stuff.
That would be my worry. It would go more towards that rom-com, whereas they did very well to keep it out of it. Richard Attenborough, he's good in this, isn't he?
Well, apart from his dodgy accent, yeah.
And his name. He hadn't acted in 14 years.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But Spielberg really wanted him, and he didn't really want to do it. But Spielberg convinced him by telling him, "You're the only one I can see doing this."
Holy shit.
No
right.
pressure.
Okay.
He's really good. I think he's so sort of normal, and he has these little character moments when they're in the helicopter. And he says to Sam Neill, "Well, they'll have landed the helicopter before you bloody do up your seatbelt." Or whatever.
He just ties it in a knot.
It's just so natural. And like, he's full of joy. Like when he steps out onto the island and he's just so happy to see this world that he's created. And throughout the film, he's just like this kind of, you imagine him being about 4 foot tall and just being like, oh.
I kind of think he's like your favourite uncle who's a bit eccentric and a bit nuts, but is definitely a good guy and has a lot of fun. He kind of comes across as that.
Have you read the book?
I haven't read the book, but I read about the book doing the research for this. And apparently his character in the book is a lot darker than he's portrayed in the film. He comes across as a bit of an arsehole who doesn't really care about his grandkids and certainly wants to do everything to save the park, unlike Richard Attenborough's character here, who accepts its fate at the end. It's like, no, let's get the fuck out of here. We've fucked this up. But no, I haven't ever got around to reading it, unfortunately. I think that's probably going to change almost immediately.
Well, maybe when I come over to Greece next, we can read it at bedtimes.
Oh, darling, that'd be lovely.
Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know how he looks older in this movie than he does now.
I don't know how I didn't know he was in this film until he turns around with a cigarette and it's just like, motherfucker!
He was 44 in this.
I double dare you, mother. 44? You what?
He's barely a year older than I am now.
Whoa.
I'd spent the longest time thinking this was one of his first films, if not the first, in my ignorance. But do you want to know how many films he's done up to this point?
Christ, loads.
25.
There you go.
This was his 25th movie.
Yeah.
He was acting in the 70s, if I remember rightly.
I mean, is he just making bank on this film?
There was nothing massive, though, before this. I don't think. He'd had bit parts and stuff. Some interesting films as well. He was in Coming to America.
What?
Yeah, like as a kind of...
Sure.
Blink and you'll miss.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a proper character in this. Like he lives in that world.
He is.
Like, with his cigarettes.
He is. He's a proper character, but then he is in all the films he does. He's such a character. He's such a character. It's great. It's great. No, I love him in this. I just didn't realise he was in it.
He's playing a real nice role in this. Like before we sort of stereotyped him.
Yeah, as I double dare you, motherfucker, or that wisecracking kind of guy. He's just a sort of computer programmer trying to get everything back online as an ordinary bloke.
It's just a bloke doing a job who gets his arm bitten off.
Yeah.
And has a really unceremonious death.
Yeah.
Tell you who else is a really good actor in this is Robert Peck, Bob Peck.
He is.
As Muldoon the Hunter.
He's a stunning actor, also massively classically trained, won Olivier Awards, done lots of stage work, lots of classical stuff before his film acting. Absolutely love him in this. The only thing I wish he did was had a South African accent to go with the hat and the shorts. Because obviously, the British accent's absolutely fine, but if he had If he had like, you know, this South African accent, like, oh Christ, the velociraptors have got out again. I need to go and get my gun and chase them all over the park, eh?
Say his like last two words.
Clever girl. Oh, but
Not bad.
clever
Mr.
girl.
Weeks.
Yeah.
I never appreciated Bob Peck back in the day. Like as a kid, you just watch this and he's kind of a bit of a boring bloke who just doesn't do very much. But now he's one of my favourite parts, and I would have loved to have seen him survive so he could be in the sequels. It just brings a different vibe, I think. I think the great thing about the cast in this is they all complement each other and everyone's doing something a little bit different. And especially as his role as a hunter, he never strays into that seriously boring or annoying authoritarian cliche that this would be now.
No, not at all. I mean, to be fair, everyone in this film plays their role. No one in this film is overboardly cliched with what they do. No one ever throws their job down your throat. You know, even the paleontologists or the chaos theory guy or this guy or that guy or, you know, the hunter. He's just, I'm just a gamekeeper, mate. Oh, I'm just a gamekeeper.
Everyone does a convincing job of playing a person being paid to do a job.
Yeah, totally.
What more can you ask as an actor? That's the job. The kids, Ariana Richards and Joseph Mazzello. I love these kids.
They're great. He starts out as an annoying little shit. Well, not an annoying little shit. He just to Sam Neill's character, he dresses like him, follows him around. I've got your book. I know all about dinosaurs, and he just wants to talk about dinosaurs. It's lovely, actually. And she's a vegetarian who really actually doesn't really want to be there, I don't think. But I quite like them. I think I like their characters. They sum up kids really well.
I think that they swapped the roles around from the book. Apparently, it was the older boy who was the hacker and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
I think they're great, and they really make the movie for me now. I think when I was younger, they were just almost your point of view and sort of the most relatable, but obviously not that interesting because you're a kid, they're a kid. You just always look up to the adults. But now I think they're fantastic. They're one of the best bits of the movie, especially little Timmy.
Yeah.
That's his name, isn't it? He screen tested for Hook with Spielberg,
No
but
way.
they just thought he was too young. But Spielberg really liked him and promised him he'd put him in another movie, which is
Bloody
great.
hell.
I really like him in this, and I watched some of the behind the scenes of them more recently. Now they're grown up, and Joseph Mazzello is very entertaining, and he reminds me almost of a young Robert Downey Jr.
Interesting. I've never seen them in anything else.
You would have. He played John Deacon in Bohemian Rhapsody.
The bassist? No way.
Yep.
I need
There you
to
go.
look at that.
Nedry. He's good, isn't he?
Yes.
And I really like the subplot of him trying to steal the DNA. This, for me, is kind of what makes the movie work. It sort of drives it along. But it's
Yeah.
also, I just find that sort of conspiracy and intrigue really fascinating. And for me, that's sort of what's missing from the sequels a little bit, is kind of some of these subplots. That, you know, it makes it more interesting rather than just about thrills and scale and how big can we make this new dinosaur park or whatever. But what we can't talk about is Dodson, the guy who comes to give him the shaving foam thing, because the actor Cameron Thor is a real life convicted sex offender for an act with a child. But apparently, I've been told we cannot say paedophile.
Well, you better not say paedophile then, had you?
I won't.
No, don't.
So we will move fairly swiftly on from him. A little bit about Steven Spielberg.
Sorry.
It's completely threw me just.
And me. Sorry, I don't know quite to do this. I was going to say something nice about Nedry and how I like his character, and he's just this big, bumbling, fucking useless guy who somehow can figure out to pull a winch out of a car and gets attacked by a fucking thing. And then you're like, but this other guy is a convicted sex offender, but I can't call him a paedophile. I was like, I fucking don't know how to lead with this anymore.
No. And then you can't segue from convicted sex offender into lovely Steven Spielberg.
Right? Jesus.
Did you want to say any more on Nedry?
I really like Nedry's character with his floral shirt, and he's just a bit bumbling and a bit stupid and idiotic, but obviously very good at coding, but not very good at stealing embryos. But you know, his whole character is central to the storyline. I think it's great. I think he's very memorable. If there's one thing I could remember from this film, this is one of his character was definitely it.
Absolutely. So Mr. Spielberg, what I love about this movie in particular, and he does this obviously very well. I mean, we're not going to say how great Spielberg is. It's the last thing anyone needs to hear. But with this in particular, you get such a great mix of wonder and fear. You get Goldblum's concerns about life finding a way, and Sam Neill saying, you bred raptors, just creating this doubt. Somehow Spielberg does this thing, doesn't he? He creates this big spectacle. He makes it all warm and fuzzy, but there's like this fucking danger and jeopardy and stuff around. Like, nobody does it better. Late review, Steven Spielberg's good at making movies.
I know. I mean, if it's got his name attached to it, it's going to be good. I mean, it's going to be exceptional. Mm. So as an honourable mention to a Mr. Phil Tippett, who's wonderfully entitled on the credits as Dinosaur Supervisor.
Best job ever.
Right?
Or worst.
I don't think he's got many dinosaurs to supervise, really. I think they're all just models and CGI. But, just to be sure.
We could talk about Phil Tippett for over an hour because he's an amazing talent with an amazing story. And it's not all positive. He said Jurassic Park made him extinct, and it sort of led to him suffering with depression and all this kind of stuff, but it also evolved his career. And there's a few good documentaries about it if anyone wants to check more out. The good one, or a good one, is Disney's Light and Magic, which is worth a watch.
I didn't realise he went into depression, but yeah, it's true. This sort of did end his career in sort of stop motion and that whole thing. But when they're walking up the stairs, and the paleontologist, Sam Neill's character, says to Jeff Goldblum, I think I'm out of a job. And Jeff Goldblum says, don't you mean extinct? That's what Phil Tippett said to Steven Spielberg. And Spielberg, he liked it so much, he put it in the fucking script.
Oh, really? That way around?
That's that way around. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. He'd said that to him. He'd seen the CGI and it's like, well, that's me out of a job then. That's it. I'm it's like with AI at the moment, it's just, that's how it's evolving. It's like, oh Christ, I'm out of a job. And he put it in the script. So yeah, but yes, Industrial Light and Magic. Of course it was going to be Industrial Light and Magic. Who else are you going to call? What's interesting is that Stan Winston was making the models as early as 91. So they were well early. They made this really cool animatic storyboarding, which I want to watch in its entirety because it looks amazing. Like, they made the storyboards, but then they animated the storyboards, and you've got all these sort of stop motion dinosaurs to give Spielberg what was going to happen on the set. And you think Wallace and Gromit, but sort of low budget and made in a bedroom, but it's still brilliant. It's still absolutely fantastic watching some of the clips. It was so cool.
I've made a few low-budget movies in the bedroom myself.
A guy called Jack Horner, who's a paleontologist, he was...
He sat on the corner?
Yes, he did, eating his...
Curds and whey?
No, that's Little Bo...
Is it? Let's not get distracted by this.
Fuck's sake. Classic nursery rhymes we can't really remember anymore because we're basically 40. Jack Horner, didn't he stick his thumb in something?
That's little Jack Horny.
Jack Horner, who's a Jack Horner, who's a fucking hell.
We're not going to pretend that we're going to go back into this.
Jack Horner was a paleontologist, and he was instrumental to the visuals of it all. So they brought on this, this paleontologist, right? Tell us how, basically the dinosaurs would have acted. So you've got these animators going, right then, Jack, what did they do?
So he's a real life Alan Grant.
Yeah. And he shut down the Velociraptor scene where the original idea, and this came from Phil Tippett as well. He had them flicking their tongues out and like to taste the air as they're walking around. And this is that animatronic sort of workup where they animated the storyboard, and you've got these Velociraptors walking around tasting the air rather than smelling it, but they're tasting it with their tongues like a reptile. And he was just like, no, they don't fucking do that. They're not reptiles. They derive from birds, which is mentioned in the script so many times, and that comes from him, where he said that's it's all bird related, and they would smell the air. They wouldn't flick their tongues, but you can see the animatronic work of the storyboarding of them moving their tongues, and this guy's having none of it, which is really interesting to see, and it's interesting that you know, he talked about like, well, that's me being obsolete. There's no stop motion in this film at all. And this must be the turning point for CGI taking over from stop motion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know we've still got animatronics happening and close-up stuff of animals and things, but there's no more, you know, big wide shots with stop motion happening. It's now CGI. You know, this must be a turning point, I think, surely.
Yeah, and you can sort of imagine how it might have ended up with that sort of Jason and the Argonauts style stop animation stuff. I mean, there's a great example of how brilliant this movie is and how it still holds up. When the T-Rex first escapes and it's by the car, you know, the Jeeps that it's flipped upside down and stuff, the dinosaur there, I'm sorry, it is just perfect. And I think it's a mix of CGI and animatronics, but it is perfect. And it's credit to how Spielberg kept on Tippett and brought in Dennis Muir, and that's a large part of why it works, right? And the way that Tippett would advise the effects artists, the digital artists who were doing new stuff at this point, and he's helping them understand the movement and things like lighting and that. Even after Spielberg saw that the practical stuff wouldn't achieve what he needed to do by itself, the fact that, you know, what was worrying for them was like the stampede scene and stuff like that. They're like, how are we going to do this without CGI? But to keep on Tippett, I think credit to Spielberg for that. I think that personally meant a lot to him in a tough time, but also it's exactly what it needed. And that's why these days so much CGI looks janky. It's because I just don't think there's enough thought gone into the hows and the whys, and they thought so much about whether they could, they didn't stop to think whether they should.
I like it. And I think it works fantastically well.
Bearing in mind, we're still shooting on film back then, and we're having digital effects comped in. It looks so good. I watched Superman 4 today.
Oh, God. Why?
It's renowned for being a budget version and terrible. The CGI is a million times worse than any of the other Superman films that came before. And I cannot for the life of me get my head around why. I know there's budgetary reasons, but this is 93 and the effects in this are better than they are now.
Yes. There was a couple of moments, and to be honest, actually, it was only when the helicopter was first coming in at the beginning, it felt like, that looks a bit green screeny or a bit CGI-y. The rest of it just looks fucking fantastic. And then you go, Jesus, this was made in 1993. They're using what looks like Windows NT. Do you remember? This is before 95. And there's a shot of them, and they've got all these computers, these big banks of computers, like daisy-chained by, I don't know, like SCART cables or some sort of can connectors. God knows, like, it's nuts.
Well, we did The Rock not that long ago, and this came out before The Rock, and The Rock's behind-the-scenes computer stuff that I saw looked primitive. I mean, anyway, brilliant job. Great combining everything. They do a lot of magic in camera, whether it's with animatronics or practical or just framing, but they're always thinking about how they're going to do the digital stuff. Like, there's a brilliant example for when Sam Neill, when they first see the dinosaurs, they pull into like the big field or whatever, and Sam Neill first sees the dinosaurs and he sort of badly takes off his hat and glasses. He sort of like fumbles at them. And he first sees the dinosaurs, then he awkwardly grabs Laura Dern's head and sort of turns her around. And then the dinosaur that they see, the Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus, doesn't fit in the frame. Right, and the CGI looks great, everything looks great, but just that idea of the dinosaur's too big to fit in the lens, you know, it's brilliant filmmaking.
That's it.
And I do want to mention Dean Cundy, because the man's an absolute legend. He's done it all the big films of this time he was responsible for as cinematographer. And I found out today, don't know why it's taken me this long to realize, he even did, ding ding, The Mandalorian, a couple of episodes of that.
No way. As cinematographer, not director.
Yeah, I mean, if I could interview one person now for this podcast, he'd probably be top of my list. It's just such a legend.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, and also all the sets are brilliant. You can tell this is before we've gone into the bloody green screen, blue screen era. The way things look like a sort of slightly tacky theme park. Although apparently they didn't want to design it to look like a Disneyland. One of the visitor centers, I think, is based on a Jerusalem temple, if I remember reading that right. The Jeeps, like, they have this sort of tacky real life amusement park vibe about them.
Fuck off. I love those Jeeps.
But those autonomous Jeeps, they were not autonomous. Shock horror. And the tracks that you see them go over, they were just a visual thing.
They're not, yeah, because he says, oh, they're electronic. And it's like, I mean, they're not attached to the rail in any way, shape or form. Looking at it now, who cares?
But it was just in reality, the driver was in the boot. They modified the car so he could see. But yeah, he could see from the boot where he was driving and just sort of lay there driving the Jeep.
Brilliant.
I've got some statistics for you around effects. This movie is 127 minutes long. 15 minutes of this movie is dinosaurs. That's all. Just 15 minutes they're on screen. And this is genius Spielberg for me. It's like Jaws all over again. But of those 15 minutes, 9 are animatronic, 6 are CG.
I can't. What?
Yeah.
15 minutes?
Yeah. They're never on for long.
Wow.
And there are scenes where you're around dinosaurs and think you're seeing dinosaurs because you don't see them because they're, it's a dinosaur eating a goat when all you see is bushes rustling. I love that. I love this Spielberg way of like not showing you everything, and it's scarier and more horrific when you don't see it.
You do love rustling bushes. I'm blown away by that. I can't even begin. I can't. 15 minutes.
Good numbers.
Of a 2-hour movie. That's insanity. Well done, Spielberg. I wouldn't have. Yep. That's incredible. In the behind the scenes bit I was watching, because nobody really knows how dinosaurs moved, right? No, we can only guess, and we can look at their bone structure or whatever. Then paleontologists will tell us, whatever. There's this amazing footage of various crew running around a soundstage parking lot, pretending to be dinosaurs.
I think I've seen this.
So the animators could sort of see, they're bipeds, so run around like a biped. And when they're jumping over that tree stump, when they're being chased, there's footage of 15 or so people literally in the soundstage parking lot jumping over some plastic piping that they've put up, and they're running around.
They've got their elbows up, haven't they? They're like,
oh my god, it's the funniest thing. It's brilliant. And they animated it off the back of these dudes running around a car park. I mean, it's just fantastic. And then you see it, you see what they're doing, and this camera angle, they've got it, and then then they cut to the film and the camera angle of them jumping over this. So you can see they've just taken it straight from that, which is excellent. Absolutely brilliant.
I didn't see it when I watched it this time and did a deep dive. It's just I remember seeing before when I've gone into it, and it is really memorable.
Yeah.
Let's talk about music now. Again, we could talk about this for an hour, but everyone knows how great the Jurassic Park music is. John Williams at his finest, absolutely wonderful. The first time we arrive at the island and we hear that main theme, it is literally wonderful.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But the theme for this has been ruined by a little prick called Nick Mohammed, who, if you don't know him, is a stand-up comedian in the UK. He's been in things like Ted Lasso. He's on 8 out of 10 Cats and stuff like that. And that's where he ruined this for me, because he did a section where he was putting words to famous music that doesn't have words, like movie tunes.
I mean, I don't know this. I don't know this guy at all, or I don't think I've ever seen 8 out of 10 Cats.
Oh.
So if you're going to do the song now and it ruins it for me, I'd rather you didn't.
Okay. It's Jurassic Park, such a massive park, da-da-da, and so on and so on.
I see. Okay.
And now whenever I hear it, I just hear, it's Jurassic Park, such a massive park.
Oh, well.
Has that ruined it for you?
Possibly. We'll have to see the next time I watch it in 20 years' time.
Watch The Lost World and see how that goes for you.
I was thinking, can we review a film at some point where John Williams didn't do the score?
Not in the 80s or 90s, we can't know.
It does seem that every film we do, it's like, oh, it's John Williams again. Obviously, what a guy. All the time in the world for it.
And we're both former musicians in a previous life, but I don't know what else to say about this because it is just so iconic, so brilliant. I could listen to this in my car. I have.
Yeah.
It's a sort of thing I put on when I need to think or write or whatever I need to do and I'm doing a task where I'm not video editing. It's a regular go-to of kind of uplifting, inspirational
That's
instrumentalness.
interesting. I quite like that because, I mean, it is really uplifting and inspirational. Massively so. And it's interesting that you put it on for that. I'll have to try that. Yeah. Nice.
It's got similarities to me to the Indiana Jones, the Raiders March, in that it's a piece of music that you can hum or sing or whatever, and you can go around in a loop and do that until you die, and you can not get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, right? Just goes on and on.
And how does the Indiana Jones one go?
Da 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 da
On and on and on until you die.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about some things we want to talk about.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Loads. The science. Let's talk about the science. The science is excellent, not because it's necessarily true, but because it's believable to most people in a cinema theatre. I think that's the secret. The way they explain it in their in-world cinema with their naff little sort of high school science video, brilliant. That's the way to do it. I know, I think it was David Coop was struggling on how to condense all the science down. I think it was Spielberg who went, let's just put it in an educational video. And as a kid, there was a real sense that all this stuff was true and there had been a massive scientific breakthrough, which of course was at the time of sort of DNA and things and whatever. But some quick inquiring on the internet shows you can't fill DNA gaps with frog DNA, and DNA only lasts about 500 years or so. So there's a lot of bullshit, but it doesn't matter because it's a fucking movie.
It's a fucking movie, absolutely. It's lovely.
I love this movie stuff when it's so close, when you're mixing fiction and reality, but it's close enough that you go, yeah.
Totally,
right.
but I think as we watch films that are completely unbelievable, like fuck off, and love them, totally, Alien Invasion or Independence Day. What a great film, also because it's got Jeff Goldblum in it. Obviously completely load of bollocks, but it's a great Hollywood blockbuster. Whereas this, actually,
it's so fantastical. There's so much crazy stuff in it.
I always wanted a Jurassic Park Jeep. Not one of the ones that are on the track, but the sort of stripped down ones when they first turn up to the park and they're sitting in the back and they stand up and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm a diehard Land Rover Defender owner, but I don't mind admitting I wanted one of those stripped down Jeeps. But mind you, a Land Rover wouldn't have got as stuck as it did when he was going to try and chase down that ferry.
A real quick one. Nedry's can of shaving foam that he loses and tumbles down the rock just before he dies. It always felt like a missed opportunity to me to continue the story.
Yeah.
It does eventually pop up later on. And I was going to tease it and talk about it in Fast Forward, but I don't know, for reasons I'll talk about later, whether I will do that kind of Fast Forward next week. But I love that story point. I thought that was a classic kind of, well, surely we'll find out more about the shaving foam with all the secrets inside it.
Yeah.
It comes up in one of the Jurassic World movies very, very briefly.
Oh,
and
does
some
it?
other stuff.
Okay,
and in something that's not a movie.
There's so much I missed in this plot as a kid, because obviously as a kid it was an action movie with dinosaurs. Whoa, it's actually loads of subplot going on. And I had no idea that he basically needed them as expert witnesses. To be honest, I thought they were just friends of his. Or something, and Jeff Goldblum was like also a mate, and they've just come to see the park and how it's getting on. I didn't, and then you sort of realize that, oh shit, yeah, I need you to sign off on my park, so like I'll fund your dig for the next 3 years, and you're going to come with me now. And so, oh right, okay. And there's corporate espionage and embryo smuggling, and there's loads of stuff actually going on.
So many layers.
That I'm now watching it tonight. It's like, holy shit, I missed all of this when I was a kid. Completely. Didn't realize it was there.
That's the best way it's done, right? You got, like The Simpsons, you got one level for the kids, one level for the adults.
Yeah, because it was brilliant watching it as a kid. Totally wasn't bored, loved it. And watching it as an adult now, it's like, hey, watching a new film in a way. Another layer of stuff. Totally. Yeah.
Well, even now, like you watch it as a parent and go, how the fuck are you sending those kids off in a Jeep to a park that doesn't appear to have been tested in any way?
I know. And it's like, he says to him in the tree, he's just like, it's just like being in a tree house. Did your dad ever build you a tree house? And he says, no. He's like, yeah, me either. And it's just like such a touching moment. I like it. And another touching moment where they find that sick dinosaur. The animatronic is close up, it's clearly ill, and she's crying. I don't know if she's crying because the dinosaur's sick or because she's like touching a dinosaur and it's incredible, but you totally buy it. You buy the scene. And all right, maybe I was being a bit harsh earlier about her being an actress and stuff like that, thinking about it now. But you totally get involved with that scene. And I think it's brilliant. And it really shows how good the animation is, how good the acting is, because actually, yeah, you do buy it. You get involved in it.
Yeah, it's a good old movie, you might say. It's
certainly a good old movie. Also, where does she get the gloves from? You know, those elbow gloves.
I thought that.
Like, all right, I mean, she's a paleobotanist. You're not gonna, you're not a vet. You're not birthing calves.
I assume they're the guy had them, the older guy that turns up out of nowhere.
Maybe.
In the park.
Yeah, possibly.
Who apparently is a real life bit of a legend who helped it all happen and couldn't have done it without him. Can't think why now.
No way.
That was Laura Dern said that. Yeah. The weather subplot. It's just another thing that sort of creeps in and just creates this literal perfect storm of drama, that with Nedry and everything else that goes on. And it's so perfectly woven together.
Mm-hmm. Nedry's buggered off to get his embryos. And they're sitting down at his desk trying to boot everything up. And it's like, And you see a floppy disk, right? And it says master copy. And it just made me laugh that it says like, master copy on the side of this floppy disk, and it's like shit. Yeah,
1.44 megabyte floppy disk.
They're using fucking floppy disks. Do you remember those bad boys?
Mate, in '92, that's as well. You're just about to have CD-ROM, I suppose, come and be a thing. But
I think she said something about that when she was in the touch screen of the car. She says something about CD-ROM.
CD-ROM.
Yeah. Did you catch, and again, this is down to the brilliance of the design of the CGI and the animators and everyone getting involved, where she's got the torch. I mean, fucking stupid, but whatever. She's got the torch, and the T-Rex brings its head down, and his eye goes into the beam of the torch, and the pupil dilates instantly, and it's like, oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
like that pupil dilation in the torch beam, just fantastic.
And when I was watching that, I was just thinking about how many people would have been on set to do all those various movements and bring it in. And there's probably a guy with, I don't know, a little pump or something to make the eye do that or whatever. It's so genius, isn't it? That's great filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the end of the movie.
Do it.
The T-Rex comes in like a fucking good guy hero to save them from the raptors.
I know, right? It is a bit like that. It's like
sacrifices himself almost.
I know.
And they run off to jump in a helicopter and listen to some John Williams music for a few minutes while watching birds and pondering the history of the world, I suppose. This was rumoured to be a George Lucas ending because, for reasons I'll talk about in a minute, he likes to finish movies on sort of 2 minutes of music and no dialogue.
Interesting.
But it was a nice sort of peaceful, thoughtful end to the movie. What do you think about it?
I thought the T-Rex busting in and saving them was a bit over the top. Like suddenly the hero or the anti-hero suddenly coming back, a redemption arc kind of thing. I did think it was a little bit silly, but whatever. It's fine. I know that in the book, Richard Attenborough's character dies in this part. How, I don't know. He doesn't survive. Oh yeah, I mean they jump in the helicopter and they all fuck off, right?
It sort of reminds me of the Jaws ending in that the big threat is sort of no longer a threat and they just sort of disappear. And in Jaws they're obviously paddling back on the thing, right? And this sort of, instead it's a helicopter. But actually I was watching it and watching the velociraptors sort of circle them and be very threatening and thinking, how are they going to get out of this? I mean, I know the ending. I know what's going to happen. But at the same time, you go, realistically, how are they going to get out of this? And then the T-Rex arrives. These days, you'd almost call it a nothing ending or a cheap ending of they don't defeat anything or accomplish anything. They just live.
Leave it behind. Yeah.
But perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you're going to do.
No, yeah, that's the thing.
These days, you blow up the fucking island or something.
I just think maybe the T-Rex being a hero was a little silly, but it's absolutely fine.
I kind of like in a way that they didn't do anything to get away. There's nothing you can do. How are you going to defeat the raptors? You're not going to. So we'll find another way of getting them out there. Mm-hmm. Quite like that.
Yeah.
Talk about favourite scenes and lines.
It's quite a few.
Fairly quickly. There's a lot of zingy one-liners in this movie, and a lot of them come from Timmy and Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Timmy is in the character, Jeff. Yeah. No, Timmy is the character, Jeff is the actor. The first one I'll offer while you're having a beer is the lawyer in the cinema tour asks if these are animatronics, but he doesn't say animatronics. He says, are these auto erotica? Just the most randomly placed.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's so good.
What about when Jeff Goldblum says, God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, God creates man, man destroys God, or whatever it is.
Going on a waffle.
And she says, dinosaurs eat man, women inherit the earth. That's a favourite line of mine.
That's
favourite
brilliant.
scene.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. Ripples in the cup with the footprints.
I mean, that was like in the trailer, wasn't it? I think at the time it was that iconic.
Iconic, that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's genius, kind of. I'm going to assume it's a Spielberg thing, but it might be a Crichton thing, it might be a Co-op thing. But just that, how do you show something bad is coming without showing the bad? That's brilliant. One of my favourite, I mean, it's such an obvious choice, but the whole, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Mm-hmm. Not only is that a great line, but I use that probably on a weekly basis to apply it to people doing stupid things.
Yeah.
Of which they do on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
The guy that plays Little Timmy. His comic timing and delivery in this is fucking exceptional for his age. Mm-hmm. After Sam Neill spends ages trying to free him from the car in the tree, he eventually gets him out, and then the car falls on top of them, and Timmy says, well, we're back in the car again. And it's just perfect delivery.
I've written that down as well. It's so good. It's great. Well, we're back in. I know, because it is. It's just perfect timing. Perfect timing.
I wouldn't have been able to quote that before I did a rewatch, but in the moment, probably made me laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that's one big pile of shit. I mean...
Say what you see, Jeff.
I'm just classic. Another one that's brilliant. Are you married? Occasionally.
Occasionally. He says it with such glee as well.
I know. It's just great.
I think his relationships come into the sequel a little bit.
No, okay. There's this bit where the T-Rex is coming and you're seeing the ripples in the cup and stuff like that. And the lawyer says, maybe it's the power trying to come back on. Which it's quite funny. Obviously, it's not. But I must admit, I work with contactors, and I wrote this down when I was literally watching the scene, and I've worked with contactors that are
contractors.
No, contactors. So I'll get to it. Right. So I've worked with contactors that are that loud, and they can really loudly, like someone's let off a 7.62 round by your ear. They are very, very loud. Later on, when she's restoring the power, she's pumping up and energizing a contactor. And that's literally, I do that on a largely regular basis. Like I literally do that 4 or 5, and then the last one, it will suddenly, it will go, and then you put it back down and you press to contact.
No way. I thought this was like movie fiction.
No.
I literally thought that when I watched it.
And I wasn't doing this at all because I was a kid last time I watched this, so it just went over my head. And watching this now, it's like, that's very real. What she's doing there is exactly real.
I did think the panels where she pushes the buttons were a bit too beautiful to be realistic.
Those panels, like, Haddock main power. This one,
beautiful red lights.
No. But no, that thing where she's up and down on the handle and it's grey, that's real, very real. So absolutely, all the points for that one.
One of my favourite lines. It's not a big moment. It's not even a great line, but it's a line I use all the time, and I totally forgot. Either I totally forgot it was from this, or it's from other things as well, and it's just sat with me. But it's Samuel L. Jackson saying, "Hold on to your butts."
You do say that, don't you?
Yeah.
That's from this. Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. I assume so. It could be somewhere else as well. But.
Yeah. There's a bit again in the storm where the captain says, Captain says we got to go. It's like, no, he really wouldn't. There's no way in hell he would be leaving then. No. They're being chased by the T-Rex. And the rearview mirror, objects in mirror are closer than they appear. And then there was one really poignant bit, which is fantastic, where the Velociraptor stands up in, I don't know, the video hall or whatever, and the genetic code from the projector is projected onto him. And I thought that was excellent. That was a really, really good shot of him being, you know, genetically modified animal that's been created, and you've got genetic code print. It's just brilliant. Yeah, love that.
I never saw it that way, funny enough, until you've said that. And now that really makes me think a little bit more.
There you go.
Good take.
See, I've hidden depths, you see.
The only last sort of favourite scene for me is it's just how much Sam Neill's character enjoys traumatizing the kids, and specifically at the electric fence. He's like, you know, making out he's just been electrocuted to death, and he just has this sort of smile on his face. What a bastard.
I know. No, it is quite funny, his character. But I do genuinely love how he comes to love those kids. Like when they fall asleep in the tree, they feel suddenly, you know, very safe with him, and they sleep on him, and it's, I don't know, it's lovely, the poignant moments of that film. There's great moments of everything in this film. You've got, although to be honest, you have no romance at all in this film, which is quite rare for a film when you think about it. Well, you don't.
Funny you say that, because that's literally the next thing we're going to talk about.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. All right, well, anyway, you've got you know, family moments, you've got horror, you've got comedy, you've got tragedy, you've got a mixed bag of just about everything in this film. You really do. And 2 hours goes quick. 2 hours goes quick. It does.
127 minutes.
Yeah.
Only 15 of dinosaurs. A couple of sort of deleted scenes and trivia bits, very briefly. Now, we talked earlier about how we weren't really sure about Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler's relationship. Until I watched it this time, I would have said to you they were just friends, because that was my memory of it being a kid. But there's some subtleness around it. Mostly when Dr. Malcolm asks about whether she's single or not, and Grant sort of says no, she's taken, or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the only confirmation we've got, because she says, are you too? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh.
But I think I sort of assumed that was him going, I wish it was true. And almost trying to get him away from her rather than it actually being true. That's how I perceived that scene. However, I dug into things. Dug in. And there was an extended scene at the dig site at the beginning that had more dialogue that hinted at them having romantic tension, all this sort of stuff, and it was trimmed and stuff for pacing more than anything. And according to some production notes and interviews, there were bits where Ellie called him honey, but they took those out to keep it more ambiguous.
Right.
And then there was even apparently a first kiss scene between them that didn't make the final cut. So I dived into it some more. And I have a photograph.
Oh.
I have a photograph of them kissing at the dig site, it looks like.
I see.
I will maybe put it on screen now, if you watch the video version.
Yes.
Or maybe, I'll tell you where I'll put it. I'll put it on our Patreon. That's it. I think their relationship's really fascinating, and I really respect the film for not going there, really.
That's the thing, because it made me realise afterwards that there was no relationship in this movie. There's always some sort of relationship arc in every film we see, whether it's we've broken up at the beginning and we've got back together at the end because we survived this trial, or we don't like each other, but we suddenly fall in love with each other because we realise we've got more in common than we don't, or something like that, or we have sex because apparently we have to do that now. It happens in every film, whereas this film, there's nothing. And it's lovely.
Another little bit of trivia. Spielberg wanted the film to be the first with digital sound, and he funded the whole creation of DTS, which you all know as digital theatre systems. Yeah, because he wanted the audience to really hear the movie the way it was intended to be heard. And so he basically kickstarted that whole thing and is sort of responsible for it. But then basically he got George Lucas to supervise the sound effects crew. And George Lucas also helped sort of mix and colour the movie, along with Kathy Kennedy, who was producing, now head of Disney.
Yeah.
Because Steven Spielberg was off making Schindler's List. He'd fucked off within a couple of days of wrapping Jurassic Park to go and shoot Schindler's List. And this is why when I talk about, I sort of hinted about George Lucas' hands in things and like the ending. He was basically like the post-production director in a way, if you will.
I mean,
Spielberg was doing it
fully in
via
charge
the phone
of
or
post.
video call.
Yeah.
And even to the point where some people were suggesting that a lot of the romance and relationship stuff was taken out because George was still bitter about his divorce. But I don't know how true that is.
I love that.
The last bit of trivia, quite a quick one. There was no costume designer for this movie.
Okay.
They decided that they were just going to go and get stuff off the shelf, and they had a couple of costume supervisors and basically went, let's keep it real, let's not make anything bespoke.
JC Penney.
$2.98. I think it just comes across though. I think like it perfectly suits whatever they need to be wearing.
A load of lab coats and some clothes, really. Like, you know, dress that guy up like Indiana Jones, but put him in shorts.
Yeah, keep the budget down.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Now, time to rank the bloody thing.
Right.
This might be the easiest one we've ever done, right?
I think so. I tried to put you off it a bit earlier.
You did. I was concerned because, as we'll come on to, there's some comments from Patreon where people were already sort of prejudging how you might go into this and getting quite annoyed about it.
No way.
Yeah.
There's so much more I've discovered to the film, so much more depth, so much more character, so much more that I've unlocked as an adult that it's blown me away again. There's not one bit of this film that I think is bad. S
tier. I agree. S tier.
It completely. That can't be anything other than S tier. This film. It broke boundaries. It was stunning. Christ, 1 billion. I didn't even realize it's you know, over time it's amassed that much. It's just so good.
I just think it still holds up. It looks great. And it says it all. There's 127 minutes and 6 minutes of CGI dinosaurs. Yeah, I'm sure there might be a few other minutes or scenes in there that have some CG elements or whatever. But I'd rather take a movie with 90% real in-camera stuff and the 10% of CGI than what we get now, which is, regardless of genre, regardless of budget, it's fucking CGI everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it takes me out of a movie in an instant. But this, it's brilliantly directed. There are so many great little moments that have classic Spielberg qualities. You've got humanity, you've got levity, you've got warmth, and he brings it to life. He creates a movie that's so fascinating and watchable. And yes, it's a family film mostly, but there are moments in this where it gets dark, such as Sam Jackson's arm just being severed and on a bloody shoulder.
Dude.
And, you know, Spielberg gets a lot of credit. Rightly so, as he should. He's magic. His filmmaking is magic. But his magic isn't just directing. I think there's something in how he puts a team together and how he works with those around him, whether that's great editors, great producers, cinematographers like Dean Cundy, and how he and them all work together to create story. Because,
he does.
You know, you have the greatest direction in the world. If your editor fucks it up, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And this film is so brilliantly edited. The pacing in this, I got to an hour and I barely had my eyes leave the screen. Like, it's a brilliant hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we've got some comments from people on Tinternet.
Yeah.
Firstly, filmmaker friend of mine, Ben Fullman, who kindly invited me to his premiere the other day. He just says, epic, ! And some dinosaur emojis.
Cool.
Good review.
Cool. Thank you very much, Mr. Ben Fullman.
Mike Shirley on Instagram said, it's the best of all the films. I assume he means the Jurassic films and not just all the films. For its simplicity and its balance of practical and CGI. Cundy rules. Could not agree more.
Absolutely not. No, very true.
On, Mike.
Very true.
Spot on. Do you want to take one from Doc on Patreon?
Doc JT from Patreon. JP and T2 being responsible for the CGI blockbuster craze, but people forgetting that it was mixing CGI with some awesome practical to give both weight. An adoption like Jaws.
Adaptation.
Thank you very much. An adaptation like Jaws. We'll edit this together, won't we?
Yeah, seamless.
An adaptation like Jaws that stands alone from its source material, but unlike Jaws, is a good complement to the book. Proper use of children in a thriller movie. The fact that all the characters are normalish people and aren't some vague military trained badasses to get cheap trust in a character. Oh my God. Yeah. This is kind of harks back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, they are just ordinary characters. And yeah, actually think about it today. There's always some massive bloke who's the protector of all the people with a massive gun. Yeah, and you're right, absolutely right, Jock. Yeah, well done. Oh, thank you for that. That's bang on the money. Yeah.
Simon on Patreon says it has to be S tier. Of course it does.
Of course it does. Yeah. We got you,
the
Simon.
third most important blockbuster behind Jaws and Star Wars in terms of heralding a new era. Amen to that. My friends and I bought our tickets the day they were released, 3 months prior to opening. God, can you imagine that now?
I know.
Saw it on release day twice, then a few more times after that. Still have my souvenir UCI Cinemas Jurassic Park baseball cap. Oh, that's wicked.
Wow.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, man, send us a picture of that, please.
Yeah, and then he does go on to say, in terms of the episode, if AJ comes up with some contrarian idiocy as to why he doesn't like this film, I should be most peeved. Peeved, I tell you.
Is that because of Karate Kid or something?
I believe it is. That among other things, possibly.
Kat on Patreon basically wrote an article, which is great, and people should head to our Patreon just to read it. But here are some highlights. It's more than just dinosaurs on the rampage. Film. It critiques the perils of unchecked consumerism and capitalism. Fucking hell, yeah, right?
Yeah.
I like it. It also engages with the timeless theme reminiscent of Mary Shelley's original Frankenstein, of humanity meddling in the domain of the divine and the dire consequences that follow. Holy shit.
Yes, Kat.
This is... I mean... Do you want to take my place, mate?
Should we just redo the whole podcast?
Should we? God almighty, this is brilliant. The film underscores the hubris of humans playing God, leading to catastrophic outcomes. She sums up with a timeless classic, definitely S tier for me.
We're all in agreement that it's S tier.
We are absolutely, all of us across the board. It is a fucking fantastic film with so many different layers and depths to it.
It makes me wonder if anyone, in the professional arena has ever given Jurassic Park a bad review.
You know what? I don't know. I can't see how they would have done, or there's some sort of twat if they did.
Right, we'll be back in 2 weeks with a movie from 1990 that's celebrating its 35th anniversary, and AJ's going to give us a clue.
I've completely...
You've forgotten.
I haven't actually written this in the script. I do know what it is. I've remembered.
Make something up. Here you go. Right, we're going to witness it live.
Without giving the film, well, I've got to give away the film comically, haven't I? Fuck. Let's go and get some pizza, dudes. Cowabunga.
No clue what that is.
I know, right? Who would have thought? But anyway.
I love that now we've done about 30 episodes of this podcast. You're still like, oh God, I've got to read something.
I know. It's like we got like a scripted beginning and a scripted outro, and the rest of the middle's just fucking waffle. And now it's like, oh shit, I've got some words in front of me. So please, for the love of God, just anyone that listens to this, I mean, thank you and why, but please leave a review on your podcast your podcast platform of choice. You can find us on Scotcho on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Rewind Classic Movies, all one word, lowercase. If you want to drop us an email, it's rewindclassicmovies@gmail.com. But in the meantime, oh no, it's your bit, sorry.
Oh, fucking hell. We also joined X this week, but I don't know how long that will last. Shit show. In the meantime, why not check out rewindclassicmovies.com and the articles we have there. And if you want to listen to more things about Jurassic Park, I'll be doing a fast forward episode next week. Yes, I will, to look at what happened after this movie came out, which I might do something different for, because I have a last minute trip to the United States of America coming up, and I may not get the time to do all the usual deep dive stuff that I do. So what I'm thinking is I might go and see the new movie Rebirth and do something on that. We shall see. So whatever that is, that's out next week. Say goodbye, AJ. Goodbye
from me. Goodbye, and it's a goodbye from him. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.